Thank you, Inspector Tiffany. And we're very delighted to have with us today the Honourable St Teresa, newly elected, or newly appointed, should I say, Minister for Ethnic Communities and Building and Construction. We're delighted that you're here with us today. And now I'd like to ask Mr. Venkat Raman, whom all of you I'm sure know, who is going to take over proceedings from here on for the next little while. Thank you.
At the altar of God, where there is no rich, no poor, no one superior, no one inferior. In the midst of the Most Reverend Bishop Patrick Dunn, our patron, our strength, and our inspiration. In the midst of our leaders, members of Parliament, my dear brother, Kanwaljit Singh Bakshi, my younger sister, Paramjit, and of course our dear minister, St Teresa. At the altar of God, where the rich, the religious, the political and social leaders, and ordinary people like us, especially me, pray for the goodness of humankind. At the altar of God, a rightful place, so well earned by the departed soul, my dear brother, Wenceslas Antony, whose shoes are too large to fill. My brother, do I need to tell you that so many months have passed since you passed, but every day I believe there would be a phone call from you. But I promise you we shall soon meet. Ladies and gentlemen, more than 50 years ago, when I was on the threshold of a career, my first assignment was an interview with a senior minister of the Indian government, at the end of which he asked, "Young man, what goals would you set for our growing economy of 300 million people?" Unbelievably, that was the extent of Indian population then. Inane and inexperienced that I was, I did not preponderate on the query. "Sir," I said, "a cottage garden with an electric bulb in front of it." Oftentimes thereafter, I've had the occasions to reflect on the impetuosity of my reply. For since then, I've seen a bit of this world, how rich nations order their affairs, how men and women rush about making war, love, or even a living. You might wonder as to why I stress so much on the importance of those 300 million people. True, we do not see all of them in our cities and towns, even less in our offices and homes, but I guess the goals that I had in mind were demonstrative of the aspirations of 300 million people. A cottage house as a symbol of stability, with the basic needs of food and shelter satisfied, and an electric bulb as a symbol of progress. Progress, ladies and gentlemen, that is what human life is all about. Progress as an individual, progress as a family, progress as a community, progress as a society, progress as a country, and progress as a world. When you pause to reflect the enormity of tasks and challenges that confront us, and the poverty of our own contributions in achieving them, you'll realize the importance that I underscored in my reference to those 300 million people. More, you'll intuitively place yourself in a small corner of this world and reflect on the inadequacy or the competence and capacity in lifting the lot of those millions. All those twists and taunts, those feelings of superiority or inferiority, of being surpassed in the race for recognition, status, power, and economic well-being, all those will fade into oblivion in the vast canvas of time unfolding before us. The one should instill in us a feeling of humility, and the other should stimulate us to act and restore the little social and economic justice left in this world. My dear friend, you, the Honorable St Teresa, our new Minister of Ethnic Communities, understands the pain of poverty, the frustration of sleeping in the cold, without a roof over their head and not knowing what the morrow would bring. You have lived amidst the poorest of the poor and committed yourself to alleviating the suffering so that New Zealand dispenses justice to those who seek it. Hello again, ordinary men and women who have accepted you as their leader shall forever be in the quest of deliverance from their plight of wantedness with shadows of anxiety haunting them. They look upon you and your hand to rest on your shoulders to cry on. Like Mother Teresa, who lived and worked for the poor, especially the abandoned and desolate children of Kolkata, thousands of people in our so-called rich nation suffer, and you could well be their hope of life and plenty. Minister Teresa, you are here this afternoon not because you're a minister of the crown or a person occupying a high office, precisely because beyond those trappings of the office, you're a fine human being. You're here because you believe that you could hold our hand and move with us to eradicating poverty, at least among children. This is no entropy, ladies and gentlemen, that postulates the absence of energy. Energy we have in plenty. We seek your hand in friendship and brotherhood so that we uphold the principles and understanding of St. Mother Teresa of Kolkata, who believed in less talk and more work. We hope that our mother would be a shining example of self-determination and self-respect of a beginning in order that we emulate some of her services every day rather than once in 3 years. We hope that you, our Honorable Minister, will give vent to all your aspirations and desires that you've always held as an enlightened member of our community. We hope that you would give more meaning and purpose to the life of Saint Mother Teresa. Our dear Minister, before I conclude, I would like to say this is not an entropy that postulates absence of energy again. Energy we have in plenty. As Sir Winston Churchill said, we shall draw from the heart of suffering itself the means of inspiration and survival. And I, for one, is a firm believer in Swami Vivekananda, who said, we have muscles of iron, nerves of steel, and minds of thunderbolt. Together, we will overcome all odds to achieve our ends. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. May I now request the leaders of various communities to please come forward as we announce their names to light the candle. They represent various faiths and religions of the world, and the beliefs that they have will appear on the screen, one after the other. First, Mr. Vinod Kumar, President, the Hindu Council of New Zealand, representing Hinduism. Mr. Kanwaljit Singh Bakshi, representing Sikhism. Venerable Shiming from the Buddhist temple. David Robinson, Consul for Israel, representing the Jewish community. Ikla Kashkari, member of the Muslim community and the president of the New Zealand Muslim League. Mr. Gregory Tweed, representing the Greek community. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. With that, may I once again welcome all of you to this 8th annual St. Mother Teresa Interfaith meeting, and wish you well. And Lindsay, to please continue the proceedings. Thank you.